All right, let's see. I hope this works. First and foremost, I don't know if anybody will jump on here, but we're going to go live. We're going to check things out here. I'm very used to going live on Instagram, so live is not new itself, just this space. So if you're tuning in right now, thanks so much. This is Coach Ty here with Project Pure Athlete, and we're going to open the floor for questions. If you have questions about training, please ask away. Let me know first and foremost if you can hear me, if everything is coming through well. What's going on? Is it Frida? You are first. You absolutely are first. So just let me know if you have good audio on that end, and then we'll just continue forward because I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. That's game plan number one: is can everybody hear me all right? Someone give me something back. I can see the mic in the bottom giving me the little things. You know the things? Yeah. That's what it's going to be about. Good. We got a thumbs up. I think we're good. As I'd mentioned before, Indonesia in the house. Right on. I'm actually from Canada. So we're located in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, border city right from Detroit. If anybody is in the kind of the US area, you'll know where I'm talking about. Canada, actually, for those that don't know, has some southern areas to it. So we're not all directly up in the Arctic with igloos and things of that nature. So, all right, we got TV USA in the house. What's going on, Marco? So questions, if you have them, let me know, and we can get after some of those questions for you. Again, I think, I'm so used to being on Instagram. We have a larger following on Instagram, about 60,000 followers there. So I know that the community over there knows exactly who we are, who I am, who Coach Chase is. So we get into lives, and it's always the case. We just kind of run with it. So if you're not familiar with who we are, Project Pure Athlete, it's been a business for quite a long time, but myself, Coach Tyler, been a coach now for 16 years. I'm a vertical jump specialist. I'm a performance specialist for all different sports, but we specialize in jump training and vertical jump specifically. So travel all over the world helping people jump higher. Well, not right now, obviously, with good old quarantine, but we travel all over the place, help people jump higher, and it's our passion. We absolutely love it. We hope that you're liking the content so far. Please let me know, like, are there things that in terms of the content that aren't working for you, that you like, that you don't like? I'm relatively newer to the video editing space, and I'm really still trying to figure out the whole, what the differences between YouTube and Instagram are, because there's big differences, right? Like Instagram's very short, consumable content. Like you don't want to have to think, they just want to consume. YouTube, I'm a huge fan of YouTube. Like I'm on YouTube every day. I watch a ton of content on YouTube. So I'm familiar with what I like, but I'm also 36. So what I like might be different than what you like if you're younger, if you're older. Yeah. So is it Arjun wants to know technique to add height to stepping. So I think the question really is, what are some technical points, jump technique points that will help you jump higher, that you're looking for some kind of advice in that range. So when I talk jump technique, so anytime I'm doing one of my workshops or one of my seminars, one of the big overarching kind of concepts is the concept of a jump behavior. Okay. So you have to understand that any great jumper, any good jumper for that matter, is going to present with the similar types of behaviors. Number one is going to be they have a very deliberate intent, which means that every step you take is consistently trying to get faster. Okay, but that's faster to the point of control, meaning that you want to improve your approach speed, but within that pocket of control, because too fast, you're not going to be able to control it through your last two strides, and too slow, you're not going to accumulate the amount of kind of potential kinetic energy that can be translated into your jump. So you want to find the speed that is fast for you. There's a lot of content on YouTube, and one of the big things that I hate seeing is when a coach goes on and says, the faster the better, right? Go fast, 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 and then just slam your feet down and you'll jump higher. But bottom line is, I coach the some of the best jumpers in the entire world. And what we know is we have to find your maximum controlled speed. We're looking for the speed that you can control, bottom line. So that's going to be number one. Number two is going to be the concept of pushing through your penultimate stride. Penultimate stride, and I'm sure if you're in the jump space, if you've looked at jump videos before, you have seen the word penultimate stride all over the place. And I'll tell you right now, that word was not being used anywhere, not on YouTube, not in any degree of popularity until the last 5 years, which is when we started pushing all of the different terms, the jump terms all over the place. So if you've seen the word penultimate, if you've seen the word block step, if you've seen all of those that referred to the 2-foot jumping space, you have Project Pure Athlete to thank for that, especially on the Instagram side, creating the buzz around that. We are the only people that travel around the world to teach people specifically jump technique protocol and how to jump higher through jump technique. So just saying. So push through your penultimate stride. Your penultimate stride is your second last stride. So whether you are 2 foot or 1 foot, the second last stride is your penultimate. It creates additional energy and helps to lower your center of mass. So that's what you have to keep in mind, okay, is that is a deliberate push. You're trying to cover distance and lower the hips. So that's where I would start, is find your controlled velocity and work on pushing through your penultimate. We have a ton of great content in our videos right now on how to push using the push punch drill, using a bunch of different variations of drills to be able to get a better push through your penultimate and take care of your jump. Now, we also are sport performance specialists. So we are strength and conditioning coaches. Been a strength and conditioning coach for 16 years as well. And what we found is that there is a really nice blend of weight training and plyometrics and all of these other parameters of training that go together to make a really good program. And what we've done is put together great programs of our own. We have those accessible to everyone all over the place. And if you're interested in those, there's links in all of our videos to a free guide that we give away. So there's a 10-page free document with some of our training, technique, jump foods, really cool tracking sheets. Like, it's a really neat way to start. I'd suggest starting with that. Let's see what some of these comments going on here. Jaden, why do some people bring their legs to their butt in their jump? So the kickback off takeoff is something that you definitely don't want to try to do if you don't do naturally. Our best guess through our research and through just having been probably two people in the world that have seen the most amount of people jump is some sort of muscular or fascial recoil that happens with higher rates of speed. Is that through takeoff, through that like really violent extension where the legs extend and the hips extend, is it creates this like kinetic recoil that causes the hamstrings in the back of the body to pull in order to provide some additional lift. But it doesn't really work the way a lot of people think. It's not about, tucking the legs is something that's going to help you jump higher. Bottom line is, some people do it, some people don't. And I've known jumpers all the way up into that 50-inch range that jump both ways. So if you do it naturally, I apologize to keep punching my pop filter. If you do it naturally, allow it to happen. If you don't do it, don't try to recreate it because it'll mess up your whole jump. I promise that. All right. Do you need, weighted pogo hops? Hey, a weighted variation of a pogo hop is a great progression. So if you are an athlete that has spent a great deal of time conditioning your tendons and your joints, then getting into weighted plyometrics is fine, but you really want to err on the side of low weights because you still want to go into that power range, meaning that you want to be working with very low percentages of your lifts over a high rate of speed or high velocity. Okay. Do you need genetics to get a 30-inch Maxford? Realistically, most everyone through consistent efforts of training is going to be able to jump in around that 30-inch barrier. It's just going to take time. I think that's the big misnomer when it comes to jump training, or people think it's like a 3-month effort, because there's 3-month programs. Jumping higher takes a commitment over a great deal of time. So for those that don't know, I was a former Team Canada track and field athlete. I was a professional dunker with a 48-inch vertical. So I know what it takes to be an elite level jumper. I'm 36 years old now. I definitely don't jump the same as I did before. I do have some lower spine issues that are being treated, but do cause me not to be able to jump the same way anymore. But I do know, as well as my partner coach, Chase, knows exactly how to help athletes jump higher. And it takes time. It's a commitment. It's a lifestyle. good jumpers are great athletes, right? Great athletes have a certain level of focus and dedication that you just can't. It takes a long time to teach that, and you have to commit to it. So anybody can get there. Will jump rope help you jump higher? It's a great part of a warm up for conditioning, like high repetition, low impact plyometrics. So yeah, I love it as part of a warm up, but not on its own as its own method of training. What is my height? I'm 6 feet tall. I currently weigh 205 pounds. I used to compete around the same weight. I was just a little bit more in shape than I am now, obviously because I was a bit younger and able to train a lot better without a spine injury. So. Still at 36, I think I'm still in pretty good shape. Nothing crazy, but I'm a dad and a husband, and I think I'm doing well. And I coach. I'm a coach first now. So, all right. Best workout to jump higher. We have a great free guide that you can start with. Links are in pretty much every video that we've ever done in the description. So just head there and try that. But, it's really a 360 approach to jump training. So you want to be hitting like all those different areas. So it's not just get super strong, jump super high. Like you get strong and you'll jump higher, but there's a point at which getting strong, you need to be able to express your strength, which is through things like technique, through things like just becoming more connected to your body. So that's something to consider as well. What do we got here? A lot of questions. I appreciate everybody's participation. Can any body type jump high? Any body type can jump higher. Absolutely. Do squats with weight stunt growth? No, that's a myth. There's no conclusive studies to show that squatting with weight will stunt your growth. The amount of reps and time under tension and loading that would be required to do so is exceptionally high and something that most people will never be able to do. So I would recommend very young, anything earlier than 12, you're learning how to move, right? You learn how to squat, you learn how to hinge, you learn how to push, you learn how to pull, learn how to brace. And that's something that you can progress into lifting really well. I wouldn't throw like a 10-year-old under a barbell and just say squat a whole bunch of weight. I would teach them how to move and how to train, develop the behaviors. Is it important to increase maximal strength for basketball or soccer? Or the benefits to lift more? Yeah, 100%. There are benefits always of becoming stronger, right? There are all the benefits of the world of being stronger. There are none of being weaker. Just keep that in mind. Do squats and box jumps with weights help? Everything is a tool. And this is something that we talk a great deal on our Instagram lives and on our Instagram account about. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Project Pure Athlete. We have a super active Instagram. You'll notice that we have many more followers on Instagram. This YouTube is still new for us. So if you're finding our stuff useful here, right, I'm putting a lot of effort into these videos. This is something new for me. So I hope you're appreciating it because it's something that I'm going outside my comfort zone to learn how to do things like video edit and really enjoying myself doing so. Go check out our Instagram account. We love it. And yeah, we talk about, everything's a tool. Everything works. There's no one key. Like YouTube's the worst for this. And it's because it's all clickbait, trying to get you to click on shit. Secret this, the hidden this, the key to this, I hate the word secret. Like nothing, there's no secret. The only secret is there's no fucking secret. Okay. There's no secret at all. You just put in hard work consistently over time. There are definitely some areas to focus on, but there's no secret. Okay. If you hear that, if people are telling you and you're clicking on videos, watching schmucks talk about secrets, you're watching the wrong shit. We're here as frontline coaches that travel the world and actually do what we talk about. We don't just make videos about it. We actually actively coach this. Okay. Okay, Glody says, please answer. I want to fix my technique. So fixing your technique starts with one simple start. You just got to start. You just got to find any one of our videos, anything that helps you identify some concern areas of yours. Take some video of yourself from the side and then find out what areas you're having difficulty with. 9 times out of 10, first step is going to be control your speed, your approach speed. If you have too much of it, slow it down a little bit. It should be slow to fast, and you should accelerate through your takeoff, not just to the point of takeoff. Too many times I see athletes run, they're running super fast. They're like, ah, and then you get these little chicken steps and then a hop, and then there's no speed. And all that approach did absolutely nothing. So start there. Do you have an email? If I can give you a few tips. So we're not in the habit of just like going on and sending emails for free stuff here and there. We have way too many people that inquire on a daily basis. I know we only have 9,000 subscribers on YouTube, but we have a super active Instagram. We work hand in hand with a couple of the professional leagues. So we do deal with a lot of stuff on a daily basis. If you want things like jump breakdowns, we do have services for that, and it does cost to be able to get stuff like that. But I pump free content onto YouTube all the time and onto Instagram, so you definitely have a high amount of value. I'm talking about we're giving pretty much everything we do. The only difference is when you pay for it with us, we actually do it with you and we bring you through it. So lots of programs that you can jump on. All of our jump programs are exceptionally well priced, from like $9 to $29 for jump programs. You're not going to find that elsewhere, especially with the level of programming that's put into it. We have a training application that's going to be released very soon, Team PPA. It's going to be really, really integrated, experience for you guys. So you'll be able to have your workouts daily populate on a calendar. You can track your weights. You can talk directly with us as coaches, video critiques, all that stuff. So we have tons and tons of stuff coming up in the future. So become part of what we have here. I imagine you have to be subscribed to go live on here or to follow live. I don't know. I hope the mass majority of you, if not all of you, are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, because, well, you're going to get better. Like, we're just going to make sure of it. Blah, blah, blah. Jaden, I appreciate you for appreciating us. Thank you. So many exercises out there to build hops. How do I choose the right ones? You don't. Okay, I'll tell you right now. And this is Vortex Gaming, I believe, is really what you're going for. Vortex. You don't go around and grab like an exercise from here and an exercise from here and an exercise from here and just do them. Okay. That's the biggest mistake right now, is because we're giving you a lot of like, content to say, try to incorporate this, try to incorporate that. If that's all you can do, fine. But there's a reason why coaches put together programs. Is the way programs are put together are done so in a way that movements complement each other and they elicit a stimulus from the body. They get your body to act a certain way to get a certain response from it. So I'd recommend, if you have a couple bucks to spare, is grab a program where you don't even have to, there's no guesswork anymore. You're just doing what the program says on a daily basis. You're fully bought in. And at the end, you become a better athlete. We don't guarantee a certain number of inches, because if programs are guaranteeing you inches, they're lying. You can't guarantee inches. You can only guarantee that if you put the effort in, you will become a better athlete on the other side. And that might look a whole bunch of different ways, right? It might look like a higher vertical jump. It might look like a more stable athlete. It might look like a slightly stronger athlete, but not everything presents itself as a higher vertical. It's like, think about 2K when you play basketball or any online sport game where you can like level up the individual parts of their game, right? Like shooting goes up and passing goes up and dunking goes up and all this stuff. You have to bring up all of the little meters in order to create a better overall athlete. And that's what the programs do. They create a slightly higher level to your bar so that you're a better overall athlete. And sometimes that's increases to your vertical jump bar. There is no secret. I'm an incredibly talented athlete, Roger Federer. There you go. There's no secret. You put in hard work, right? When I think it's romantic to think about, there's there's a secret, or there's like this magic pill, or there's this magic exercise that's all going to take me from 30 inches to 50-inch vertical, or from, being the worst to the best athlete on my team. It's not. It's just time. It's just commitment. It's patience. It's the concept that sometimes you have to slow down in order to speed up. A lot of people are pounding through injuries where if they take a week to treat it, they become stronger and they can progress faster. So lots of stuff to consider. Jumping higher doesn't mean jump higher doesn't mean that you'll run faster. Does that mean that actually exists more ways to express explosive power and be good at one way? Doesn't mean you'll be good at the other. So it's a great comment, and I'll provide context to that. So jumping higher and sprinting faster can sometimes run hand in hand if the jumper is an elastic jumper or a much more reactive jumper, meaning ones that don't spend very much time on the ground. Sprinting is highly reactive, right? It's about producing as much force as possible in a very short amount of time, because if you produce force and take a long time on the ground with sprinting, well, people pass you. In jumping, you can jump a couple different ways, right? If you just produce high amounts of force, you can do that from a standing position and still jump high off the ground. But if you are a person that produces your force quickly, might not necessarily have the same level of force, but you produce it very fast, then that's something that would translate over into being a good sprinter. For instance, I was a very elastic jumper, meaning that I was from the world of track and field. I was a decathlete. And when I became a 2-foot professional dunker, mine translated very well. I had a super fast approach in jumping. I produced force very quickly. I produced a really sharp braking block foot, and I was able to get very high off the ground. Some people need more time under tension. I'm assuming some of you are familiar with people like Isaiah Rivera, even Jordan Kilgannon. A little bit longer time spent on the ground, more powerful athletes. Doesn't mean they're going to be the fastest ones. I can guarantee that in my peak, my prime, I would have smoked Isaiah Rivera in a foot race, and he would be probably one of the first people to admit that, or maybe not. But you know what? Send him my way. We know each other. So yeah, there's just different ways to produce force. Love your vids. Just recently found and subscribe. Awesome, Glody. Thank you so much, and you're welcome for the help, Vortex. I'm offended. Who is this? Who is this? Awesome. I love your coaching, Tyler. I've had absolutely amazing results and can't thank you enough. I'm dunking for the first time at 33 years old. Brother, thank you so much for that feedback. I wish I knew who you were. I don't recognize you by the your handle, but awesome. So good to hear. Upper body for jumpers. Is that a question about what to do or if it's important? Because if it's important, yes, because jumping is your whole body and your arms and your upper body are part of your whole body. So sorry, I'm super sarcastic at times. It's not, don't take offense to it. It's just how I am. My wife just constantly shakes her head at me. But yes, upper body is exceptionally important. You know, part of jumping is arm drive and arm swing, and creating a powerful arm swing is a combination of strength, mobility, and also stability. So things like shoulder stabilization exercises, upper back exercises are really good for jumpers. You know, if I had to pick one, I hate picking one, pull-ups. Again, like a good actually active shoulder pull-up is a great measure to upper body, you know, jump strength, I guess. You start with that. Is there one exercise that can improve your vertical? What is the best body weight exercise? Jaden, you know, I'm going to say this, and I'll probably say it tons of times. There's no one best exercise. There are tons that elicit the same type of stimulus. A good body weight, lower body exercise is Bulgarian split squats. So that's where your rear foot is elevated and you're just lowering yourself through that front leg, through that whole foot. An exceptionally good exercise at creating a lot of feedback from your body, both from a strength standpoint and a stability standpoint, because you have to balance yourself. It's my favorite exercise personally to use for my lower body because it's really easy on my back. I can't do two-legged barbell squats anymore. My spine does not allow for that. How can I get better at jumping with a run-up? Because I'm strong, but I can't get a great with a run-up. That's going to be practicing your technique and likely shortening your approach. If you're having trouble expressing your strength through your approach, likelihood is that it's probably too much approach that you're having to slow down for. So start with just 2-3 step approach. You can just walk, push through your penultimate and create a nice aggressive block with that last foot. But think about getting quicker through takeoff, slow to fast. You just need to find what you can control and thrive there. Up. Best knee stretches exercise. Things to help stuff like patellar tendonitis is going to getting into, especially you know, quads and hip flexors. A lot of times what happens is when there's extra tension built into certain parts of our body, it causes the knee to track a little bit improperly, causing irritation, inflammation. So, you know, glutes, hip flexors, quadriceps, like everything needs to be pliable, but also functional and strong. So for me, the number one that would provide kind of immediate relief to jumper's knee was going to be getting into something like a couch stretch. And a couch stretch is, you can search it on YouTube. Couch stretch is awesome for opening up the front of the hips and the legs and releasing some tension on the knee. Is riding a bike compatible with jumping? Not on like a repetitive basis. If you like to ride your bike, that's fine. But if you're like training to bike daily, long distances. It's kind of a competing energy system, not super conducive to jump training. But I'm a big believer that if you love something, don't sacrifice it unless you are fully prepared to commit to something like jumping as being your priority. Did you go to college? If so, what did you major in? I did. I went to the University of Windsor. I have a master's in human kinetics or kinesiology, and I also have an undergrad in education, so as a teacher as well. So I have two, well, technically 3 degrees, but yeah, so I've been graduated for quite some time now, but I've learned the mass majority of what I do now post university. It gave me a great base. It gave me a great fire, taught me a lot of really cool skills. But I've put the mass majority of my work in the last. I've been graduated now for how many years is that? 12, almost 13 years from university, and yeah, so that's what I did. Do super athletes like LeBron do jump programs when they're like 3 years old or something? No, super athletes like LeBron are what we call outliers on many different facets. So whether that's a little bit of genetic outlying, it's an outlier in terms of their like ingrained, like low level passion. Like you just can't replicate that. Some people have it and some people don't. It's like if you're watching The Last Dance right now with Michael Jordan, like you can tell that he just can't not compete. And that's not something that he read in a book. That's something that he has inside of him. So that's why there are always going to be tiers and echelons of athletes. Some people that have a burning passion and not necessarily a natural ability can most definitely train themselves to be exceptionally talented athletes. But some people are gifted things out of the gate that can't necessarily be taught. And you know, LeBron would be a really, really good example of somebody that has some gifts, but also has a burning passion to be better on a daily basis. He's just going to make better decisions than you more often. Do you know the knees over toe guy? What are your thoughts on knees over toe vertical gains? Ben and I are friends. We definitely know each other. You know, knee over toe training is not something that Ben created. It existed well before that. We've been using knee over toe variations for years and years and years and years. Ben popularized knees over toe training as being kind of the pinnacle of what they do, meaning that the mass majority of their movements are knees over toe. There is a time and a place for your knees to go over your toe. You know, is it on every single thing you do? No. And that's through my own experience. You know, I've been a coach for probably 10 to 12 years longer than Ben. Not to say I'm any better. I just say that I've had more exposure and experience to more situations. So I've likely been, and I have been in front of more and coached more people than he has. So he's done a phenomenal job building ATG, and they have great training. You know, Connor Barth is one of their coaches. Connor Barth is a certified Project Pure athlete coach. So he is someone that brings a lot of value to them in the jump space, and they're doing wonderful things. Need to work on my penultimate. Any suggestions? Yep. Work on your penultimate. Push actively, tall chest posture, allow your center of mass to fall through that push, and apply a really aggressive block. I've been using your basketball to roll on my quad, basketball, hams, glutes for better recovery. Is it worth to invest in a nice massage gun? You know, yes. I have a jigsaw massage gun, which is like you buy the bit and then you have a jigsaw. A little louder, but it's like $60 for the adapter and goes right in an actual jigsaw, and it makes a great tool to have. So yeah, definitely a great investment if you have the expendable cash. Hey, Tyler, I love your channel. I know from your videos I have to push into the block foot, but sometimes I feel like I'm going too fast and can't reflect it back up. How should I progress? Slow down. You know, I've seen it time and time again where I have athletes that are jumping pretty well, but then I slow them down a bit and they jump even higher. And they're kind of like, for a moment, their mind is a little bit blown because they're like, wait a minute, I jumped higher by going slower. No, you jumped higher because you allowed yourself to produce all of the power you had. If you go too fast for how quickly you can express your power, you don't express it all. So you have to find that pocket of what we call maximum controlled velocity, right? We talked about it before. You have to find the controlled velocity. And that's something that I'd suggest, just slow down to start. What's the point of bringing your foot to your shin for the penultimate. I'm not sure what that refers to, Jaden, and what position you're referring to, but with the penultimate stride, as you bring that push, the toe off foot through to become your block, it's going to happen naturally. It's going to be something that just kind of falls in more naturally. If you're thinking about too many things when you jump, it can actually take a little bit away from you as well. So practice with the thought in mind when it comes to jumping, just jump. Can we increase maximal strength without lifting weights? You can increase your maximum strength without lifting weights if your strength levels are at a point where your body weight can produce enough stimulus to create strength gains. At a certain point, you need progression beyond that. How important is does that say horizontality? I think you mean like how important is the angle of your block foot regarding to the brake effect at the end of the run up. So the angle of your block, so that's the last foot that contacts, really corresponds to the amount of speed you bring into the actual jump itself. Typically the athletes that have the quickest approaches will have some of the most dramatic angles to their block, or they're going to be athletes that learn to jump with a pretty dramatic internally rotated block foot and have that requisite stability in the hip to be able to support that position, because that's a pretty compromising position if you haven't been in it before. So if you don't jump with a turned block foot, don't just crank your block foot into that position. Someone let me know in the comments if you're familiar with this, if you've done it before. Is there a way to save live streams? Like, can I go back and clip this, or is it just kind of like you do it and it's gone? Anybody let me know on the side if you know. Would you consider yourself an extremely gifted athlete or one who worked off because of natural ability? Sandy, great question. So this is the really cool aspect of both myself and my partner, Coach Chase, what we bring to the table. So myself, I was a pretty naturally gifted athlete overall out of the gate, meaning that like I, from a very, very, very young child, was constantly enthralled with being able to, or wanting to jump. So I spent a lot of time in early years jumping. Now I had some natural gifts that allowed me to jump pretty well without being in the weight room and training too hard until I hit university. So I trained pretty much exclusively through high school on just skill work through the sport. So as a track athlete, basketball player, volleyball player. So I would play the sport, practice the sport, and get better as a result to it. I could dunk in high school. It was nothing crazy, but I could dunk. I had probably about a 36, 37 inch vertical off a full approach before I started training in the weight room. I then started to hit the weight room and really spent a lot of time discerning what factors helped me jump higher. And over 18 months, I took my vertical from about 37 inches all the way up to 48 inches. So I had an official vertical jump test at a volleyball combine back in 9, one of those years, 47 and a half inches. I touched 11.9 and a half, and I'd helped myself jump much higher. So I got even better being a naturally gifted athlete. Coach Chase, on the other hand, naturally not a very gifted athlete. He is one of the hardest workers I've ever met. He really, helps me become even better as a person because of the work ethic that he has. He's someone that brought his vertical from much lower than I had to start to the same that I jumped, so 48 inches as well. He's also an absolute jack show. Like he still trains like daily now and hard. He's very motivated to be very athletic himself, and that's a competitive fire that, again, like you can't teach. I don't have that same level of competitive fire, but I love helping athletes source that and understand it. Hope that helps. What was my max vertical in my prime? My max vertical was 48 inches. It was officially tested, in person on a Vertec with coaches and stuff at 47 and a half, but I have plenty of footage of myself jumping higher than that. It's something that I worked very, very hard for, and I'm very proud of what I did. But at the same time, not prioritizing certain parts of my training has led me to a point now where I have a pretty sufficient spine injury that causes me to be in pain a lot. And my training is as a result, comes and goes. So, I want to use my experiences to help other athletes avoid the same things that I had in my early years. If you want to see like my dunks and stuff, if you go on YouTube and on here and type in, Tyler Ray dunks or, it'll pop up. My name and dunks. There's tons of footage out there of me dunking for many, many years. I feel like it's taboo, but can you comment on weight loss as a strategy for jumping higher? It's not taboo. Seems all pro dunkers are 6'4", 170, depending on height. Well, Kevin, you're looking at a former pro dunker, and I competed at 6 foot, 205 pounds. I was about 10, 11% body fat and jumped 48 inches off the ground. So body fat and weight to a point, yes, absolutely. Producing force and lighter mass is going to be producing a high force with lighter mass is going to help an athlete get off the floor higher. But what I don't suggest is someone just tries to get as lean as possible, because what will happen is there's really a working composition that is appropriate for different athletes, meaning that depending on your type as an athlete and your body will really depict where you fall in terms of body composition. More important to really focus on body composition than weight, because weight can fluctuate due to many factors. So not taboo at all. All right, Ken, patellar tendonitis recovery tips. Come on now. I just released a video yesterday on jumper's knee, patellar tendonitis, and it's awesome. Awesome. Go watch the video. Awesome video. Go watch it. And thank you for being here. Okay, I'm going to jump off here. I've been about 36 minutes. This has been a good live. Actually, many more people on here than I expected. Super thankful for all of you taking your time to spend a little bit with me and hopefully learn a little bit more. If these are helpful, if you like it here, help us grow, help us find more people. We'd appreciate that. And until next time, this is Coach Ty coming from my home office / home gym, the workshop here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Much love, everybody. We'll talk soon. Bye.